Ian Ileana here, another day in Los Angeles, and by Los Angeles I mean Seattle, which is Los Angeles, because I just came from the hospital and I've already said several times that I have PTSD from military sexual trauma, and because I've been sexually abused by Master Sergeant Miranda and sexually assaulted by American citizens, I'm at this point where I say, unless I am completely unconscious and the only way to save my life is to put your hands on my body, I don't want to be examined by a female ever again. I don't want to be touched by a female ever again. Now, I mean, that's going to suck for my wife, whoever I marry at some point, but that's what it is. When you sexually assault me under the guise of, we're America, we're allowed to sexually assault you because you declared that you love this country enough to serve in the military, so we feel entitled to sexually assault you. I feel entitled to say, you can never come near me again. You can't sit next to me. You can't talk to me. There's none of that. So my doctor, prospective doctor, I have to say, comes out and, she says, I'm the only one in staff. I can't really find a male attendant. And I understand, for the way things are, it's subtle manipulation of, do you know that you're a veteran? Do you know that you have injuries and you're broken and you're fucking ugly and you didn't value yourself enough to say, I should have been a fucking model instead of a fucking hero? So now that you're older, yeah, you need someone to take care of you. So they fill the fucking staff with mostly female, mostly Asian, because, you want a wife who's completely domesticated, emasculated, and wouldn't emasculate you. And a lot of people could say, that's just the demographic that showed up there, but I'm not most people. Now, she says her part, and she's got a man, right behind her. Obviously, he's not a doctor. He's maybe a nurse. And as I said, if I didn't have the situation of, can I take this seat next to you? Is this seat taken? Where, I had a woman try and sit next to me during dinner, just out of the blue, right before I was about to leave, that shit happened. Oh, and by the way, this whole thing is a fucking setup to torture me. Literally a setup to torture me, because the one day that my shelter is closed, the one day my shelter is closed is the one day that, number one, I don't have a place to stay. So not only do I have to occupy the time, but hey, I've got some health issues. Why don't I fucking use that time wisely? But of course, knowing the military, they use that in order to say, hey, you probably shouldn't be in the hospital, because what's really wrong with you is the American diet itself. The nutritional level of our food is declining. We may feel like we're getting healthier, but that's only part of the story. People are looking better. They're feeling better. But look closer. You think you're feeling better because you're finally getting that vitamin A. You're finally getting your vitamin E. You don't see the truth. The truth is that you fill your body with preservatives. The same thing that preserves your food preserves you, because you're just meat. So every time you go in a health kick and you think, I'm eating healthy. Look, I'm eating my vegetables. Keep in mind that those vegetables have to exceed shelf life. They have to exceed it, because no one fucking wants to buy it when it's ready. Nobody fucking wants to buy it at a high price. So they have to extend it longer and longer and longer and longer, till someone finally says, fuck it, I'll eat it. It looks great, it still looks great, but it's no longer healthy for you because they had to extend that there. You know, America has a very interesting perspective on food and nutrition. So instead of seeing a doctor and explaining, I've got constipation because the food here is terrible. It's good in ways because, you eat your vegetables, you get your vitamins, you get your minerals, but it's bad because you're just filled with heavy metals, pesticides, and preservatives. All this extra stuff that they have to add, an anti-caking agent, because heaven forbid your flour doesn't sift well enough for you. So I'm walking with my abdominal pain. I'm walking with my discomfort. And I'm walking free as an American citizen because despite all the fucking torture that America puts me through, I still have the right to say I disagree. I still have the right to say I have more questions. Yeah, I shouldn't be in a fucking homeless shelter. But then again, I don't really feel comfortable being in America where they're like, you have been sexually assaulted, get over it. No. Yeah, I hold on to the fucking anger, I really do. Because every time I try and forgive, every time I try and move past it and say, that was maybe one, two people who crossed the line in such an extraordinary way, I have yet another situation where I'm taken advantage of by a woman, or I am just completely harassed. So, against my own judgment, my own medical judgment, I walk away from a perfectly competent doctor who, as far as I know, has never done anything wrong to anyone. But I have to explain to her that I was in medical care at Lackland Air Force Base. I was an injured serviceman. But America said, we don't care. If we want your body, we will take your body for sexual needs if we feel that way. And I'm supposed to say as an American citizen, what? I'm okay with that? I'm okay with it to the point where I have to keep a fucking beard on because, I wouldn't want any woman to think that I was in any way inviting further discussion or flirtation or anything. I have to make myself as ugly as possible. I have to stop brushing my teeth to make myself as repellent as possible. I live as a fucking homeless person because I don't want to let people back into my life after such disappointment, such betrayal. So that's what this is going to be today, walking and podcasting, because we got a lot to do. We have a lot to do because if the United Kingdom says you have to do paperwork in order to fucking come over here, fine, I'll do you fucking paperwork. But while I'm here in America, where you left me, I'm going to make sure that this country is better. Because that's just who I am. And maybe I do have to fucking start that discussion where people realize that you're dealing with a lot. You're absolutely dealing with a lot. Every day is a struggle, not just for me, for you too. There are some things that should be guaranteed by your government, and that's your food. You don't want to tell American citizens grow your own vegetables, grow your own fruit. Because most of them don't know how, they don't have the time, they don't have the resources. But then that's on you, because you made it a federal agency, Food and Drug Administration. If it goes into your mouth, America has to guarantee that, to the best of their knowledge, it does not cause more harm than good legally. I feel that America has acted in bad faith by allowing such an unfair advantage to producers to skirt their responsibility by using pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, waxing the goddamn fruit and vegetables, adding preservatives to the mixtures and then putting it on the shelves. It all adds up. Now, is it something that you take one spoonful of and you are completely checked out of life? No, that's not the case. Tiara, why is it so dark? Because I am walking around Seattle at night because my shelter closed because they're trying to teach me this magical lesson of not every woman is trying to rape you, bro. Not every woman is out to get you, bro. And I say, okay, well, what about every fucking time I had to put up my camera on and say, what the fuck is this woman doing here? Hello, I'm back. Now, I was trying to discuss that the West Coast is many things. Transparent, yeah, you guys are. But like I said, there's always a camera, there's always some sort of conversation that you have with these bad actors to set things up. Now, I understand that on some level, my life would be so much easier if I just gave into that fantastic desire to be an entertainer, just so I could hang out with cool people and say, you know what, this is a non-toxic workplace. Now, when you're on set, things are not perfect. You deal with some fucking terrible personalities, but there's so many moving parts. In most cases, you just do your job and you're fine. Now, I look at things like Isaiah Washington and, his homophobic comments, and I say, that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. But that's not every fucking actor. In fact, with every generation, with every fucking pilot that comes out now, people are picking up, if you do not have the team player attitude, your show is going to fucking suffer. Your acting career is going to fucking suffer. So there's more incentive in that business to fucking be polite, be nice. Look at someone like Meryl Streep on the set of Little Women, who's like, you know what? Come on, we're going to Wendy's, we're getting chips. She's going out of her way to say, you know what, let's bond in a way that is appropriate and everything. What is going on here is a lot of, can we shove this on you and then see in your own memory, oh yeah, nothing happened this time. Nothing happened this time, but every single fucking time that I say, you know what, relax, that's when I have a situation where I have to call for help. And I have, like I said, I go to the incident that landed me in Seattle in the first place, where some woman put her hands underneath my clothes And I tell the conductor, because I videotaped it, hey, this woman put her hands under my clothes. She came all the way to the back of the train to put her hands under my clothes. Like, I feel uncomfortable because of that. All right. Habibi, Trump, Messi, or Ronaldo? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. I'm pretty sure Messi is a good leader. Look, if you're a sports star, you already know how to fucking run a team. So I think he's probably, busy with his own country. But, if he can inspire people here as well, then isn't that the point? Are you sure? I don't know. I think at a certain point we have to move away from the idea that celebrities know everything and have all the answers. And we need to start taking responsibility for the world we see around us. Fella, Ray. Hello. Mr. Steam, I don't know who those people are. I like your voice, boy. Yes, I'm gooning. I know what that means. Okay. Yeah, it's a rough one. I normally am not so fucking homeless that I am walking the streets, but this is the situation that I'm in. You know, you live on the West Coast. They keep trying to tell you, you have to learn to trust someone. Trust someone. Learn to trust more, because you can't trust everyone. So you need to just give up the idea of trust. Trust no one and trust everyone at the same exact time. How the fuck do you do that? Because, this doesn't make sense to me. So, as I said, I have to file some paperwork because I am a citizen. Sorry, I had to consult my map as I'm walking around this fucking neighborhood. Still trying to fucking figure out this, whatever. Wait, you're homeless? Yo, bro, I'm sorry. Yeah, I booked a holiday in the United Kingdom. I paid for a hotel. I paid for an Airbnb. And they said, nah, you're not eligible to come in. Because number one, I showed up, I had no luggage. And they're like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that, man? And I tried to explain to them, I can afford to buy clothes if I want to, or I could afford to just do some fucking laundry. But for the time that I'm fucking spending here, I mean, it's hot as fuck. Like, these people fucking complain to me that it's over 30 degrees in Europe right now. Did you know that it's over 30 degrees? And I say to myself, I'm indigenous, right? You know that I'm technically a loincloth kind of person. And, I'm okay with being naked in my own room. So I'm gonna fucking do that. I'll let you mates just fucking walk around in your woolly suits and then be like, oh, it's so fucking hot. So fucking hot. I'm like, you guys are prudes. If you just take off all those fucking clothes, number one, you would see that you're not that fat. You just need to fucking move around a bit. And two, you would realize you're a sexy motherfucker like I am, and you'd be happy about it. But they took it as such a fucking offense that I didn't bring any luggage, because they were like, but, I mean, you're going to want to buy clothes and things like that. I'm like, if I buy clothes, I'll buy clothes, and then I'll buy one outfit, and then I'll fucking throw it out. Because I'm not bringing it back. Damn your tiny little mouth. Yeah, it's pretty fucking awful. I about that, everyone. Apparently, I got completely lost and turned around. Yeah. Human help. Are you still in California still? What's the update? I never left California, really. California took over the rest of the states, so we're dealing with the Western Bloc now, and we can call them that. We can call them the Western Bloc because of how they behave. You know, you have people who engineered my little PTSD triggers in California, and then you leave California, but then you come here and you see people fucking setting that same shit up, and you say, oh my God, you're the same people. So does it even matter if I left California if you still behave that way? Open your tiny little mouth. Honestly, I wish housing for homeless was as simple as giving a good blowjob, but, no, it's not for everyone. It isn't. This is really stressful. I'm in Seattle, so everywhere is a fucking hill. It's easy to go downhill, it's a lot harder to go uphill, especially with abdominal pain. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna take a small break. Whew. I'm glad to see you live streaming again. I have to live stream because there's no arguing with a female doctor who says, okay, if you have a life-threatening condition right now, I'm the only one available to save your life. That's it. She's got a brilliant fucking point. She's got a brilliant fucking point. But like I said, if it was... I just want to fucking cry right now. If it was as simple as, I'm the only one available, can I still do it? I'm like, sure. But wasn't I in that same situation where I was an injured serviceman and a Master Sergeant Miranda sexually abused me? Wasn't I in that same situation? And now in my critical hour of need, oh gosh, I really shouldn't be moving around with abdominal issues. Okay. Whew. There's a lot of heavy breathing on that one. Sorry for your ears. But yeah, the answer was no. The answer is always going to be no. Understandably, even if I get my citizenship and everything goes perfectly, what the fuck am I going to do when I go overseas and I might have to see a doctor? Am I just supposed to fucking spread my butt cheeks because they have a funny little accent like mine? Not that, that would be medically necessary. In this case, it was fucking medically necessary, which is why I find it extremely gross that America was like, can we have a woman look at it? I'm like, no, you can't. No, you can't. So, yeah. And the only alternative at this hour right now is walk until it's fucking daylight. And hopefully my shelter opens back up tonight. Not this night, but within 24 hours. Or, I don't know what I can do. In the morning, I definitely have to go to Seattle services and see if they can find me something. But like I said, my goal isn't to fucking stay here. My goal is to educate the people, spread love and positivity, and then get the fuck out. The idea that how we farm affects our health has to be a global message. We need a united front. This is what the United Nations is supposed to do. It's supposed to take these large overarching issues and come to a consensus. Design policy, change scientific methods. But that discussion doesn't happen. We make a lot of noise about starvation, world hunger. What if I told you that because of the food you eat, you could have a ton of it, just meal after meal of these perfectly balanced nutritional fucking nuggets. But if the way that it is produced is chemically enhanced, you risk your life. You risk the quality of your life. And sometimes you miss whole lengths of your life. So why can't we just have a conversation about it? Be honest and say, hey, we need to change how we farm. We need to have more farmers. And we need to safeguard our soil. Or understand that some of these things are just going to have to be grown hydroponically because the air is too toxic and the soil is too toxic. Some people keep discussing things like synthetic meat. What are we going to do when the meat that we purchase doesn't taste good, feels awful going in, coming out? What are we going to do? Because we don't seem to have a plan. I'm talking to this doctor about my abdominal issues, and she didn't fucking ask me once, what did you eat today? Now, I'm the one who's supposed to have a medical degree. I'm the one who's supposed to go to medical school. But I know that much. She didn't dare. She was focused more on, can I just break through your fucking thick skull? Not physically. She didn't say these words, but her demeanor was, you're being a fucking idiot right now. If you really are in pain and having all these issues, let me try and save your life or give you at least some peace of mind that what you're experiencing is just a reaction to the fucking horrible food that your country produces. Unfortunately, I have PTSD, so I am risking my life like a fucking idiot. I feel that way. I feel like I am an idiot. But then again, I don't like the fact that I couldn't have gone to the doctor on my own. I had to have a situation where it was, can I sit next to you? Or, we have one more for the bus that you're going to be on. Oh, by the way, it's not going to your location anymore. We're going to a different one. Yeah, they pulled that one. So yeah, totally uncomfortable and everything, and I get it. On some level, it's, you can't be such a fucking rude bastard to everyone. But as I said, once you've been sexually assaulted, try telling that shit to a female. Try telling that shit to a female that's ever been raped. Guaranteed, she will say, fuck you to men. At this point, I would turn to a fucking lesbian before I ever let a man anywhere near me. Some women fucking recoil like you would not believe. Some women bounce back and say, that happened that one time. And guess what? I applaud them because they healed. They healed. They had closure. The military didn't even investigate my sexual abuse. There was no trial. There was nothing. And I had to fight for years for benefits. And look what those benefits did for me. I am walking around in the fucking darkness in this goddamn fucking awful town. Which is relatively safe because, as much as I'm yelling and being way too loud, it's not that bad. But I just can't stay here. I can't stay in this country that goes out of its way to fucking set me up for PTSD trigger after PTSD trigger after PTSD. Now, it's nice that some people want a house. I want more than a house. I want a country that I can be proud of. I want a country that cares enough about its citizens to say, what you put in your body with our guarantee has to be fresh, nutritious, and legally binding. So here I am, in pain, walking around, but I'm not giving up on the idea that we can have an intelligent conversation about American food at the very least. Yeah, I want to discuss worldwide food, but I live here right now, and I am telling you, we need to have a discussion on this today, tomorrow, and until we see a resolution. People want to talk about abortion, people want to talk about gun violence. Talk about your food. It's what you do every fucking day. You trust it, and you shouldn't sometimes. You should ask more questions. Which farm did this come from? What's in the soil? What's in the water? What do you spray on these goddamn vegetables that cause rashes and cancer? And I will not let that go, because this doesn't just affect me. Maybe I'm sensitive. Maybe you are too. Maybe you look at your face in the mirror and you see a breakout after you eat something and it touches your lips and your lips fucking swell up or shrivel or just fill with just angry fucking welts, and you don't ask a single fucking question. Wake up, people. So yeah, it does appear to be extremely uncomfortable to walk right now. But if it is what is necessary to receive justice for my people, the people of America, then yeah, I guess that's who I am. That's the kind of person I am. Do I have PTSD from military sexual trauma? I do. And I also recognize that females are inherently smarter than men. It's just a focus issue. So, nothing against them. But there is a right way to fucking approach me and a wrong way to approach me. And if you were ever a victim of rape, a victim of sexual harassment or abuse, you would understand that. And if you don't, I don't know what I can tell you, because that is what it is. It's called boundaries. And understanding in the medical community, there are no boundaries. In acting, there are no boundaries. Which is why I stand for something a little bit more grounded in some ways. I stand for public health. You live in this country, your country should guarantee the sanctity of the food you eat. And if it doesn't, then I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to fucking impose fines on my own country and say I have to spend less. I'm not gonna be a customer if what you sell me makes me sick. I'm gonna have to grow my own food. And if I have to grow my own food, I guess eventually I would have to find a place to live, be a farmer, do it the right way, and set that standard that American farmers have been lacking because they're scared. American farmers are scared of losing their farms, losing their livelihood, losing their history. How many generations own that farm depend on consistent sales, but at what cost? I'll leave you with that. My name is Ian Ileana. I'm an environmentalist, a human rights activist, a mutant, a werewolf, awu. I'm a veteran with PTSD from military sexual trauma. I'm not getting any better. This is a rough one, and I wish things had turned out differently, but the discussion of public health in America will always have to continue. For you, for me, for everyone. I hope to see you on the next podcast.